I did the DeWalt Tools thing yesterday and had a few comments from people asking, or assuming that I was going to do a review on them. I'm not going to be doing a review on the tools. I'm going to be building a project with the tools. That's one thing I avoid at all costs, is doing tool reviews, because at the end of the day, I don't think they really have much actual value. I've got a lot of people that have asked me over the years what I think of this saw in particular, because it's so, you can see it so easily in my videos. And I resist answering that question mainly because I don't want to give people the wrong impression. I love this saw, but that doesn't mean that the saw that you buy that is the same brand will perform the same way. And that's the point of the reviews, or that's the downfall of reviews, is they are reviewing the tool that they have in hand, or the product, whatever it is, they've got in front of them. And most importantly, they haven't tried it for a long time to determine whether it's durable, what its quirks are, the problems that crop up in every tool that you buy, no matter what it is. It was pretty much the same thing when I got these tools right here. These are Canadian brand tools. Canadian Tire makes these, or has them made more appropriately, and they're for sale in Canada. So they sent out some of these for me to use, and I made a video showing me using these tools. And that's basically what I'll be doing for any kind of video like this. I'm not going to be doing a review. I'm not going to say, okay, here's the here's the specs for this machine, and wow, it feels good in my hand, and it feels very rugged and it's very solid and whatnot. I'm not going to do that. But if you see me continue to use the tools, then that'll be a review in itself, because I'm only going to use tools that are working for me. It's simple. If it works, I use it. If it doesn't, I don't. And I've used tools all my life, and I've used good tools, really good tools for, half of my lifetime at least. So I know the difference. These tools here, I continue to use them. I actually moved my Makita stuff into the house where I use those only in there, mainly because the batteries are kind of getting weak in the Makita stuff, and I haven't bought any new ones. But I would compare these, I would say overall that these are almost as good as the Makita. And the Makita, I was using those since, I think, 2003. I used Makita. Before that, I was using, okay, I'll go right back to the beginning now, okay? And I had Craftsman. Craftsman, you used to go to Sears and you could buy Craftsman battery drills for like half price, or 60% off, and that's when you would buy them. You go and get those, and I would use those at work. And then one job we were at, I got all of that stolen. We had all of our tools in a lockup room. The guy actually climbed in through a vent hole, up in the top of the wall. This is a school with block walls and stuff. And it was a vent hole right through the wall, no bigger than this, that he squeezed in, and he got inside the room and he took everything we had. So had that replaced with, at the time I had it replaced with DeWalt stuff. And I wasn't happy with the DeWalt drill at the time. I think the problem was, the big problem was the crook inside here on that particular drill was really tight. So if you've used a drill like this or an impact driver like this a lot, you get a big heavy callus right here. Mine's pretty much gone now because I haven't been doing that intensive work in a while, but this was bordering on painful to have your hand jammed inside that crook. So I actually traded that off for the one that's down here, for this one here, and you can see that this is not in the best of shape. I used the heck out of this, actually, and it does still work, but I'm not sure if the battery even has a charge. No, the batteries are completely dead. This is the one that I had that was still working, but I think it's long dead. This thing's been in that drawer for the past 3 years, or ever since I built that cabinet down there. So I had the Craftsman, and then I switched over to DeWalt for a while, for a long while actually, with that drill. And then on one job, I picked up a Milwaukee drill, and for 2 or 3 years I was using Milwaukee only, but ran into problems with battery life on those as well. And then switched to Makita, and Makita brought me right up until the time I stopped doing that work. The thing about Makita was consistency. You would buy the tools, and okay, there used to be some variation because we would go through a lot of tools. Like I have here in the compound, you could say, probably 5 or 6 impact drivers that are kind of worn out or worn out. So they're all over the place. So there's a couple up there. You probably can't see it in the camera, but they're up there. I'll bring them down. Yeah, here's 2 that are out here. I think there are like 3, maybe even 4 more in the house. I was going to take one of these apart at some point to show the mechanism that's in here that does the actual impact. So that's more or less why I don't do tool reviews. Tool reviews can be very, you could say, lucrative, because not only are you giving the people what they want, people want to watch and, you know, listen to tool reviews, even if the tool review is not actually covering anything important. And it also cashes in on the brand recognition. People search all the time for a particular tool review on Google. And so if your video comes up in the search results, then, you know, you're getting that many more views. Not my thing. I do projects here on this channel. I do projects on my main channel. And I don't want to get into that kind of stuff, mainly because of that. Okay, this tool works great. I can recommend this tool, but you can't have it because it's mine. You could probably buy a tool that looks like this, although I can't guarantee that it's exactly the same. Manufacturers make changes all the time. They make a tool originally, and then they start whittling away at it to try to optimize it for production. They may reduce the size of some parts. They may reduce the quality of some parts. Outwards, the tool looks the same, but inside it might be a lot different. And you really can't tell that by looking at it. It's a longevity thing. You have to use it for a certain amount of time. But there is a rule that I found to be very true, and some people don't agree with this, but for the most part, you get what you pay for. If you pay a lot of money for a tool, you're generally paying for quality. You're paying for that durability long term. Whereas if you buy something cheap and you know the company is not known for making good quality products, then you're probably going to have problems down the road. If not, you know, sooner than later. I'm going to see if I can get that battery to take a charge. I get the charger in here. You see it's orange. You have to paint your charger a distinctive color out on the jobs, otherwise it'll disappear. Not on purpose, usually, by guys that, you know, send an apprentice out to pick up the chargers, and he sees a DeWalt charger and he just grabs it, so it disappears. That actually happened with this battery. This is not my battery. I didn't buy this battery, but the guy took my battery out of my charger and put this one in. So he did the switcheroo, so I wound up with this battery. It's blinking, so maybe it will charge. I don't know. We'll see. Be nice to use this drill every once in a while, although it probably could stand a cleaning up.